Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode where we'll talk about AMDP. AMDP is nothing but ABAP managed database procedure. And being an ABAPer, I never bothered to create any procedure, right? We are all happy with our OpenSQL statements. So let's quickly check our popular three-tier architecture model and see what's happening over there. I believe this is nothing new for us, where we have any sort of database table. It can be Oracle, DB2, or MSQL, etc. And we basically write our OpenSQL to pull million of records to the application server layer. And then we write our ABAP logic to loop through those data to filter it out, or maybe certain aggregations we want to do. And finally, we just collectively just show that record to the UI. That's what we have been following through, and it's a popular three-tier architecture model. But when the database comes to HANA, then a new opportunity is open for the ABAPer. And we have now certain provision opened through which we can push certain business logic and to the database level. And this logic now resides very close to the data. And that's why this kind of a framework or model is actually popular as code push down or code to data paradigm. So what is a procedure? If you just ask someone, procedure is nothing but a procedural language. There is a step-by-step kind of imperative process, right, or action we perform. So let's say here what I'm just trying to say. Create table and then insert some records. Then maybe I want to check certain read-write access, and finally I want to update certain data or certain records. And this is kind of a 4 instructions I want to give to the database, and I ask them or ask the database to perform it in a sequential fashion or as a procedural fashion. But the thing is, if I want to do this in an SQL console, we can do that. But that particular steps can't be reused multiple times. It can be called multiple times. It's only one time, right? So hence, if we create a database procedure or function kind of, we can open it, or you can call this kind of a procedure as many as times you want. And I have just given 3 things over here mentioned, like DDL, which is a data definition language, which means creating certain artifacts. In this case, a table generation, which we have been doing all the way from SE11 so far, right? And DML is nothing, data manipulation language. Let's say, for example, inserting some records or maybe updating some records. Whereas DCL is a control language, which looks for the point number 3, which is nothing but checking the read and write access or kind of an authorization. So this all been abstracted so far, and now we have an opportunity to look for those kind of a different feasibility. Now let's understand what are the different programming languages that we can use to create this procedure, right? So different database, let's say Oracle, they created something called PL/SQL, which is again procedural language. IBM created SQL/PL, which is again procedural language. The similar way, SAP also have extension of SQL, and they have created something called SQL script, which is an extension and adding different features to that SQL. And another programming language is called Programming L that can be also used, but Programming L is very much internal to SAP. We are not allowed to write any Programming L language to create our procedure, right? We'll be using SQL script, and that's a part of the HANA database that supports. Not only HANA, there is another kind of a SAP database, which is also called Sybase, right, and CBase. And it's an ASE means Adaptive Server Enterprise. So that's kind of a database which also supports SQL scripting. So we have told like it's an ABAP managed database procedure. So what does it mean by ABAP managed? The thing is, this kind of a DB procedures, we can create it directly from the ABAP end. We'll be creating certain global class, just like we do it in SA24. And then this creation as well as the deletion means overall life cycle of this AMDP can be managed from ABAP side. We'll shortly look at how things works. But that's the reason this ABAP managed database procedure it's actually all known as. Now there are not only the AMDP procedure, there are few other options that are also there. Like we can go for an AMDP table function, or can be AMDP scalar functions. That is also doable. And in subsequent episodes, we'll look at those things. And in this current episode, we'll mainly focus on AMDP procedure creation. Now to start with, I'll be using Eclipse editing because we cannot create the AMDP procedure from AC24. We can create a class, but that's all, because we'll be using SQL script programming language, right? And that's a foreign language. It's nothing related to ABAP. And in the ABAP world, the syntaxing, the color code, etc. is not acceptable yet. And only we can display the class definitely from AC24, but we cannot edit it or we can do any SQL scripting there. So Eclipse editing is the must or mandatory to create MDPs. So let's create a class, and I'm just using our package CDS. The class name JCL, let's say, is flight AMDP demo, right? And let's say put something flight tails. So that is the description. Now any class, when it has an interface which is specific to AMDP, that is called interface AMDP marker HTTP, the moment we just integrate this, we'll have this class capable to handle AMDP. So let's finish it off, and it will be nothing but a simple or similar global class that we have been creating all the way from SA24. But only thing is we have just implemented this interface. Now to start with, an AMDP class should have an AMDP method, and let's say the method name is get flight details. Anyway, so that's when we will just create a method. So we want to import certain things. Here the main point that we cannot go for an pass by reference, it will be passed by val. So we have to remember that. And let's say that importing is, let's say client I want to import, and type is, let's say, I think that will work. So certain fields will be doing, let's say, fine. Just wanted to see if this field is there or not. We have certain customer type, right? And we can put that field also. So now, so far so good. We just have declared certain types and declared a table type, and we just use you are using this as an importing and exporting implementation. So create the implementation. Now I told, like, for AMDP in a class, we need to have an AMDP method, and we have decided to make this particular method as AMDP method. So for that we'll be using a by database, and it's a procedure, and for it's a code completion happens from Eclipse for HTTP, because HANA database means for which database we're creating this procedure. Currently SAP has opened this provision to decide this, it will be HANA database or something, but currently it only supports for HANA. Okay, in other than HANA, AMDP is not yet supported. All right, so now creating the SQL script. So language also I'm just mentioning, and looks like SAP has kept this option open. Maybe in future they will extend the different database to support. Options maybe read only. So we can basically, currently this is for the fetching purpose operation, and we can also update the database table. So next we'll be using this flight. Just want to use two tables to perform the different SQL scripting. So now whatever the logical right over here, so this is all starting from our SQL script logic. So what I want to do, I want to read the data from these two tables, kind of a joins, and finally I want to put it into an internal table. So this is my internal table, and I want to write, just select, let's say char ID, quickly see what we're doing, or basically selecting few fields from. So mandate, char ID, con ID, connection ID, then date, then writing certain logics over here, right? So it is saying like kind of a case statement, right? So that's a code push down, some business logic. When the customer type is as a B, it's a business customer. So it's a P, it's a private customer, and otherwise you just get the default value as others. Okay, and that's the things. And then finally doing some sum operation on this local currency amount to get the total column field value, and just getting the data from a slide as alias is A, then in a join is book alias is B, right? I think that's very well known for your OpenSQL. Nothing extra I'm doing, just a little bit of case statement I just added and certain aggregation things I have done. So now one thing I have to do, we have to just put certain where clause. We can put AMDP equal to the variable which is an input parameters, and the parameter name is what? iClient, right? So this is what I want to use it. We'll be using client, we have to put a colon beforehand. But now still it is not done, because we also, we want to also filter it by a date, how it would be, right? So we can put a date also, value like idate, and type we can put as dates, correct? So let's also filter this by b dot full date equal to idate, right? So far so good. But as we are doing a sum, so we have to do a group by, correct? So group by what? A dot mandate, a dot char id, connection id, then b dot full date. Anything else? Oh, custom type we have also, right? So this is what we need, because we are doing an aggregation on this total, so we have to do a group by on these fields, right? Am I missing anything? Oh, here every syntax should be closed, not with full stop. Unlike ABAP, it should be colon. Okay, so that's what we have to do. So let's save it. Now interestingly, I want to show one thing, and that is, now we have just created a class. We have implemented one interface, which is this one, and we have declared certain local types to this class, certain table types, and one method we are just doing it, which is a AMDP method. Why it is an AMDP method? Because we are adding certain capabilities, like it's a database procedure, then it's for HTTP, for SQL script supported language, and certain two tables I'm using, and that's two tables should be added here as an using parameters, okay, using options. And this is a very simple inner join. Nothing much we have done, right? Simple. So now let's open our database perspective or HANA perspective. So in the previous episode, I already explained that how I can access the HANA backend system, okay, from the Docker, because that explorations now helps us to understand what's going behind the scene. So if we just go to this HANA, this is my HANA database, it's a tenant DB, and this is the schema which all refer to my the backend artifact generation. Everything will happen over here. And just for your clarity, let's just understand why I'm saying so. If I go to system and status, you probably will see an option called HDB is the database. So this is the database I'm accessing now, and this is the schema I'm referring to. So that's the interesting thing, that we don't need any specific DB user, HANA specific DB user, to create this procedure, right? We are still doing it on ABAP user. Still we can create the artifacts. So let's see, I've just created a class, I've just saved it, and let's see, do a syntactical check before I just activate. Let's quickly see if I've done anything wrong or not. Looks like there is no such error. So let's activate this code, right? Before activate, let's quickly, I want to show what is happening in the behind the scene. So this is my DB procedure, this is my database, this is my schema. If I go, there is something called procedure, okay? So let's expand this. Okay, I have filtered with JCL. So let's remove this filter for the time being. So let's see what are the procedures. Certain procedures is available, and you see there is nothing written as JCL because our class starts with JCL, correct? Nothing is there. So let's activate this class. I'm going back to my ABAP perspective, and let's activate this class. Let's see what's happening. Looks like the object is activated. Fantastic. Again, I'm going back to the database, and sorry, not modular. Yeah, I think, yeah. So this is my procedure. Let's refresh this just to see what's happening. Still, I don't see any JCL. What's going on? That's interesting. The thing is, still I'm creating the class and activated the class. It doesn't make any impact on the database. So that means it is Doesn't matter whether my backend database is HANA database or not. It doesn't matter. I can activate the class and I can capture it and transport, and I can move this transport to the next system. It doesn't matter still I am on HANA or not. That is important. So when it will start creating the procedure, let's understand. So for that, what we'll do, we'll basically go to this class, because I told you that we can display this class from front end, and from front end in the sense the ABAP side, right? So this is the class. So let's see how it looks. So this is the class. If we go for change, what happens? It says that class this cannot contain stored procedures, cannot be changed in SAP GUI, as I was telling, right? So this is only for the display, and you see the code over here, everything what we have used. So syntactically looks like it's okay. So let's execute this class. I have just executed, and I want to see the get flight details. If I execute, what will say? It need basically two information, right? So let's quickly check what's happening. Anything done so far? Let's see. So far nothing happened. Okay, fantastic. Let's see what's now. So client is what? Which client I'm working? 001, right? And what is the date? Date is 18/11/2016. So let's put 18/11/2016, right? So if I execute, what happens? Let's see what went wrong quickly. So the main issue, I believe, is on this custom type, because we are actually expecting it should be a string, right? Kind of a big number, but we have still kept it as custom type as with the database matching of this field, which is a character 1. So we need to change this with a string. Okay, so let's activate that, and we can just execute 001 and 18/11/2016. If I execute, oh, no problem. So now it's actually working fine. So let's go see like what the data it arrived. Yeah, so this is all, you know, private customers and business customers all coming well, and we can see the collective total summations as well. That's nice. So let's also now quickly see what happened in the backend. So if I just refresh it, boom, you see what happened. It created three procedures. Okay, so one is the one which is get S flight details, the other two having something called STB2 and STBT. So these are the stubbing. Okay, so when we are calling this procedure, it will not directly call this one get, but it will call via one of these two, STB2 or STBT. So let's understand that what the first one happens. First one is, so that is all the explorations that we are trying to achieve, right? So we have this input client, we have the date, and now we have this output, which is our table, correct, that we are passing it. So some sort of a table type got created. Okay, so you can see over here also, I guess you see a table type got created. Okay, I have just filtered with HCL, and that's why I can see this table type. All right, and also you can see the table from which it's been filled. It's actually fetching from certain view. Okay, so if I just go here in the view, if I just refresh it once again, let's see. Yeah, two view got created also. You see SBook COVW and SFlight COVW. So from where this fetching is happening. So that's the first procedure, and it's the same query that been written. Let's see the STB2. STB2 is a stubbing, so, or kind of a faking. Okay, so this is one from which this procedure gets called, and it doesn't have this ET flight. You see, it's only having importing but not exporting. And finally, it's making a select query on this internal table. So that is the beauty of SQL scripting. The in temporary tables, global temporary tables, or GTT, so they are actually accessing the data directly like a database table. It seems like a database table because it's making a select query on this internal table. So that is the power of SQL script. And if I just go to STBT, in my opinion, I just didn't see much of the SQL, didn't find anything on the help documentation much, but looks like this is called the first time, and then from here the STB2, and finally the one which is actually intended, because here it's all kind of a connection statement happens, the sequencing happens, right? And it's just check which version, because this timestamp, when I am actually calling the method, at the time only this procedure gets generated with a timestamp. So next time when I just update anything, if I can update any new thing, so let's do one thing. Let's update some coding. Okay, I want to see, let's say, a comment. I don't know, hopefully comment will also work for testing. Okay, so this is I'm writing in a wrong place. This kind of a comment should work actually in the SQL script area, which is here, right? So it's a commenting. So let's activate this code and see what happens. Hopefully this in will be removed, will be deleted. Okay, that's my assumption so far. Let's refresh it. You see it's all deleted. So these table types are there, the views are there, but the procedures got deleted because I updated a simple thing over here. Okay, so when I'll run actually the method, when I'll just execute this method, that time only it will recreate the things again, version mismatch. So when this is happening, because what happens, certain older version does exist, so that time I can run a report. This report name is this one. I'll mention also in the description box, rsdb gen AMDP. So if I just run the delete database for the same SQL, the class name, then hopefully it will delete all the things as well. So let's refresh once again, and now there is no more the table types. Let's refresh this as well. Hopefully it also deleting this. So let's rerun this once again. Okay, and let me see what's happening, if something generated or not. Yeah, nothing as of now generated. So let's rerun. Awesome. So because of the session was holding, it's actually matching the version with the database, which is a DB procedure, and that's why it's a conflicting happens. So like you have to run this report also to remove those kind of runtime code, generated code. All right, so that's what is actually happening. So let's do a little more, right? I hope you are enjoying this session. So why not little do more on this? And the next thing is I want to add I want to create a program, and from the program I want to access this class. Let's say how to do it. So I have to go to 38, and let's say create a program called call AMDP. All right, so let's I think the program I already created, so let's say it put at 1. Okay, so call AMDP, and it's basically an executable program. So hopefully things are fine. If I execute, activate and then execute. So the date part I want to give as 15 and 2016. If I execute, what will happen? Yeah, the data is actually coming. That's nice. But I want to filter by carrier ID and connection ID this way. Okay, kind of a filter operation. So obviously what I want to do, I want to use some class now. Okay, so let's say data fashion, so you can understand two table rows I'm adding up, one for carrier ID and another is for connection ID, and the field name is AMDT, not TV, right? And this is the catch. I just want to put it, sorry, a little bit That's all, right? So I'm just creating an where clause and will show like what is happening once I pass it. Okay, I'll debug it and I'll show. So that way you can very well understand what's happening. So I'm creating a where clause, and this where clause will pass it over here. But this table, this class method doesn't have any where clause to start with, right? So let's adjust this one. So let's add one importing, and that is value. We are calling it as a I where, right? And this is type. I want to put it as a string again, right? So now this I where I want to filter. Okay, but to filter we have to use one more thing now, and that is interesting again, and that is we have this et flights, correct, that we are actually getting the value from, I think value 2. So this is the final table that we want to pass it outside of this method. We are saying this one is equal to, we'll be using something called apply filter syntax, and then I'll say okay, you take this field name, take this property, because this is an external, so I'll be putting it colon, and it needs one more thing, property, and there is I underscore filter. Oh, it's so weird, I think. So these two things I just want to pass it. Okay, semicolon, so that way it is all updated, because every syntax has to be ended with a semicolon. So let's check this one. I think no problem. Let's activate this one. All right, so if I activate and go back to our DB and right click, what happens? You see this one actually did it because we have changed this one. So we want to read on this time, and our code is where? Here is our code. So now we can put something, I think I underscore where, and we can put this w underscore where clause, right? So this one you can pass it. Then once I'm passing this one, then I'm expecting this will be filtered based on my multiple select options from the AMDP. Okay, I know video is a bit lengthy, but I just wanted to cover this one. I hope it will be useful to you later, because many times I see developers asking these questions like how to pass multiple values or select options to AMDP. So probably this is the nice way to do that. All right, so what we can do, let's run this and see what's going on. We may make some mistake, no worries, that we can fix it anytime. We want to go for LH, and this is Lufthansa, and something we'll put 0400. If I see the debug starts, let's see what happens with this one. So we get a where clause like that. So mandate is this one, and carrier ID is LH, and connection ID is this. So kind of a string fashion I'm giving, and then we just call this one, so it goes to the AMDP layer, and let's say put F6, and that way the ET flight filtered with 2. You see it is no more 6. Now I see this only for LH and 400, right? Awesome. You see now it is only filtered with this. All right, so that's why the multiple thing, if I don't pass it, I didn't check anything with the things, maybe it will fail this time, because in the backend I am still passing this filter. It may create a problem. Yeah, it is not filtering out, which is nice. So now we are seeing the full bunch because we are not passing any filter. So let's say put 2 cab ID, JL and LH. It may not be that helpful, right? Because anyway we'll get the same values. So let's put one thing, we'll be pressing 2402, okay, or maybe 0408. So let's say if it is filters with this value this time, we'll be putting only connection ID 0408, nothing else. If I just F6, you'll see the where clause changes as per. It's only taking connection ID. If I just execute, you see only for JL is being filtered, right? So that was the motivation for this episode. I hope you learned something good this time, and you understand what is exactly happening. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll shortly connect with a new episode. Till then, goodbye.